Welcome back. This is episode 8 of Don't Screw Up Your Relationship.
Did you forget what you were saying?
No, I knew where I was.
Did you forget
I
the
knew
name
what
of
I
the
was
show?
doing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional, by the way. Don't screw up your relationship with two people that are not relationship experts, but we both have screwed up relationships, and we have
Men screwed over in relationships.
Yes. So we were talking in last episode about Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean John Puffy Combs. And we were talking about what's coming out in regards to his life and his relationships. We're talking specifically about accountability and how Diddy, just to recap real quick here, Diddy had no accountability anywhere in his life. He was a music mogul. Some people say he was responsible for the death of Biggie Smalls as well as Tupac. There's even a documentary that says that Tupac had issues with Biggie and wanted to squash it, and Diddy was the one that said no. And then that's what led to the shooting of Tupac and Biggie. Who was shot first? Was it Tupac?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know.
But one went down.
I think Tupac was shot before Biggie. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then Biggie was shot and was in the car with Suge Knight. And Suge Knight was also wounded. And some people said Suge Knight had something to do with it. Well, we don't know the essence of that. But what we do know is from watching the documentary called The Downfall of Diddy. Is that right? The Downfall of Diddy. He was not held in check at all.
Right.
And so the thing that I want to talk about that I really feel impressed to talk about is accountability in relationships with your partner. Diddy had no accountability. He treated people like they were his subjects, not people he employed. He didn't treat them as an employer to an employee. He treated them basically like property, and that carried over with the women that were in his life. He was connected with J-Lo. He was connected with what was the girl now that was in the video? I forgot her name again. Cassie. And so this is a horrible thing that Diddy did. If you saw the video or know anything about the video, how he was just very abusive. A lot of times abusers will do something and then come to their partner and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," but then they go back and do it again.
Right.
And my question that I asked you was, is he sorry that he did it, or is he sorry that he got caught?
Right. Yeah, I don't personally think he's sorry for anything. I think that he issued an apology because his PR team said we need to do some sort of damage control somehow, some way. But no, I don't think he's sorry for anything that he's done. I think that he is, I think he feels like he's entitled. He was entitled to do that because look who he is. And he has said that on numerous occasions, that look who I am. Look what I've done. Look what I've accomplished. Look who I've made. Look at all the money I have. I don't need to be held accountable for anything. He's extremely arrogant, and
right.
As talented as he is, he's extremely arrogant.
Right. And now he sits in prison, in court, in jail, trying to prove I'm not this guy that everybody has seen that I really am. And everyone's coming out now. People are talking. Depositions were taken by Jamie Foxx. Depositions were taken by Jay-Z.
And I don't even think it's a matter of I want to prove that I'm not this man. I don't think that that's what he's doing at all. I don't think he cares that people know that he is this man. I think what it comes down to now is he doesn't want to go to jail. He doesn't want to lose his empire that he has, that he's built on, doing whatever it is. I honestly don't think he's sorry for any of it. I think that right now he's just like, well, let me just go through this, and I don't honestly know if he's going to be held accountable now. I would hope so. The evidence is very, very damning. But I don't honestly believe that he's really sorry. I really don't.
And that's a typical response by an abuser, a narcissist. And look, the last 10 years, the word narcissist has probably shown up in people's vocabulary
Right.
more than ever. And
along with triggered.
Triggered. Yep, triggered. And it's something that you cannot, watching that video, it's apparent that this is not the first time he's done this.
Right. He felt entitled to do this.
Felt entitled to do it.
Yeah.
And this is something that happens. So now let's bring it from Diddy. Let's bring it from the billionaire to the neighborhood.
Right. Right.
This is the kind of stuff that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Take the dollar signs away.
Right.
At that moment, it's a man and a woman in that video is a man treating a woman like trash in a hotel room.
Right.
And it's two people that I'm sure he's declared his love and all this stuff, and and the apology, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem. Just like you said, you hit the nail on the head. I don't think he is sorry.
Mm-mm.
He's sorry he got caught. He's sorry he's in jail. I'm sure he would rather be in his mansion.
Right.
But he's sorry because his life is gone. And there's no accountability to the woman that he loves.
Right.
He certainly didn't have that relationship with his wife, as we talked about in the last episode, because while he's married to her, he's carrying on a very public relationship with a very public person in J-Lo, and which is Jennifer Lopez. If you don't know that, I don't know. I can't Google it. I don't know. How do you not know that? Jenny from the Block?
Selena.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got.
Yeah.
And she's not still Jenny from the Block, let me tell you. She's forgotten where she's come from. But that's a whole nother subject. You're being very judgmental. I'm just looking at the
Who said that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking at their life. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. J-Lo, if you're watching.
Oh, wow.
Hit us up in the comments.
J-Lo, if you're watching.
J-Lo.
Wow.
But
because she is she told me, I talked to her yesterday,
I
and she called me, and she was like, "Girl," and I said, "I know, right?"
Right.
Yeah.
I can't believe. And you tell Dr. Packer he needs to calm down. But you cannot walk around and treat somebody that you say you love, you declare that you love. You cannot treat them consecutively. This is not a bad day.
No.
This is
No, and that's not a thing anyway. A bad day of grabbing somebody, excuse me, I'm going to get explicit here. So a bad day is not grabbing your girlfriend, wife, whatever, by the hair and throwing her against a wall and then kicking her in the face. I'm sorry. That's not a bad day. A bad day is, man, my boss really irritated me. I'm gonna go eat these donuts real quick.
Oh, there you go. That's a bad day.
You know what I mean? We all have our vices, I guess.
Right.
But that's not a bad day reaction.
That's assault.
Right.
That's assault.
Yeah.
And so
this is somebody who feels like they have the right to do this.
Yeah.
This is somebody who feels like I am entitled to do this. You are my property and I can treat you any way I want to.
Right. 100% agree. the fact of the matter is, if there is no accountability in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
if you are not, you say, well, I'm bitter. The Jewish writings say in the New Testament, somebody says, well, I'm bitter, but I'm just hurting myself. That's not what the Jewish New Testament says. The Jewish New Testament says if a root of bitterness springs up, it offends many. So if you're bitter towards your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, fiance, whatever it may be, if you're bitter towards them, then you need to sit down with them, and even if you need a mediator, and get to the root of that bitterness and get rid of it. But you do not get the right to treat them like trash. And especially don't insult them by turning around and saying, but I love you.
Right.
Because that is not how love behaves.
No.
And here's my problem, and it's not just with P. Diddy, Puffy, Sean, Puffy Daddy Combs, or whatever he wants to call himself right now. My issue is, if you're really sorry, you are going to do something about it.
Right. You're not going to blame that other person for your behavior. You're not going to say, I love you, I'm sorry, but you made me do this.
Yeah, you made me do this.
Right.
Now look what you did.
You know what you did. You know that you can't keep pushing me. You know that if I'm in a bad mood or I've had a bad day, you can't continue to push me, and that's what you did, and that's why I hit you. Do you understand?
Right. That's I couldn't say that better myself. There's two sides of this in the last few minutes here. There's two sides of this. There is accountability and there is provoking.
Mm-hmm.
Someone can provoke you to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being angry. Again, on this particular forum, we don't. It's not a preaching forum. But the Apostle Paul said, be angry, but do not sin. In other words, you have the right to be angry. You can be mad. You can be upset. What you cannot do is take that anger and then use it as a weapon against another person, period.
Right.
And so being angry, then you'll have to deal with that anger. But you cannot it's not being angry that's the problem. It's what you do with the anger.
Right.
And in a situation like that, if I'm truly sorry, and I have never put my hands on a woman, ever. Have I been angry? Of course. I told you we've screwed up relationships and we've been screwed over in relationships, but I've never put my hands on a woman. If I do something wrong, I apologize, and then I immediately begin to work on myself. I'm not setting myself up as an example here. I'm only telling you what I do. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't work on yourself, there's never going to be a change. Because the issue here is not that he's mad at women. He is this person.
Right. Right.
And so people that are in the neighborhood that are this way, it's like, boy, she really makes him mad, doesn't she? Well, now look, let's talk about that for a minute. Maybe she does provoke.
Right. Right.
But he is still in a relationship. He is accountable for his actions. Mm-hmm. She is too. Mm-hmm. Women are as well.
Right.
It's like an airplane. If you get on an airplane and I ask you which wing is the most important, mm-hmm. the right wing or the left wing?
Mm-hmm. Well, they're both important.
So. Exactly. And when you're flying, you need them both for the balance. And that's exactly what happens in relationships. Mm-hmm. You have to keep provoking in check. Mm-hmm. You have to keep accountability in check. And you can't let anger get the best of you.
And a lot of that, too, is holding yourself accountable for your own actions. Like, maybe not so much rely on someone else to hold you accountable, which I did touch on in the last episode where I felt some type of way about him being surrounded by all these people and nobody holding him accountable for any of his violence, of his lashing out, of his just complete out of control behavior. But yet, where is he? you have to hold yourself accountable for your actions as well.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This is a lot to unpack, but thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.